I haven't done any canning in a little while, so I really don't need my gate to be ajar. Yeah, it actually has more of a problem staying locked than flapping open. I just couldn't resist a bad pun. Hello and welcome back to DarkenEmber Forge. My name's Elwin, and today we are going to get started making a gate latch. Because the one I have tends to stick and it's hard to get open. Delivery people have a hard time figuring it out. We need the gate shut in case our Greyhound wants to go zooming around. And I'm going to try to match the furniture sort of that's on the gate already so that it doesn't look like an afterthought or something added by, you know, a later group of owners and the people who had it made. You might recognize this bar of 1/4 inch thick mild steel from such projects as Spatula Handle Part 2. Yeah, I think this will be a good part to get the Christmas tree shape, and then a bend to get up and around the wood, and then something to catch onto the gate latch. So we will go from there. Of course I forgot to start recording. So far I've just started to get the end pointed. Starting on this project has been very difficult for me, as if you're watching this on the time might be noted by the couple weeks of unexplained absence there. This has a feeling to me of something that actually matters a bit. Like, if I make this and it's not right, well then obviously I've ruined everything and it's broken forever, and all things are bad and will always be bad, and so on. The kind of catastrophizing that my brain likes to do given any semblance of an opportunity. In a lot of ways, this doesn't have to be perfect. Honestly, if my first attempt isn't even functional, that's not a problem. There's already a gate latch there, and it does work even if it's kind of a pain in the butt at times. Even if this doesn't work, I don't need to change it. I don't need the backup immediately. Now that our front is kind of trimmed mostly to shape, we are going to thin this out, because this does not need to be a 1/4 inch thick. Try to take it down by about half, spread it a little, should be good. Because I'm trying to spread this in every direction, I'm going to hit it on the flat face of the handle as opposed to the horn. But it's been so hard. My head has that dueling issues of combination of it has to be perfect. You have to make it perfect. If you don't make it perfect, you've just wasted your time and your money and your effort and everything. And the combination of no matter what you do, it'll never be perfect. You're a flawed human being and it's always going to be bad. And yes, I am a flawed human being, and it's never going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. You just do the best you can and keep trying to get better every time. I know that, but boy, that's not satisfying on an emotional level. So this has been really hard for me to get back in the saddle and start banging on metal, trying to make things again. Also, part of the issue is the second piece. I don't know exactly the dimensions of it until I get this first piece done and installed. This is the kind of thing the mass market ones have a little bit of slop in them, designed into them. They're built with a little extra here or a little less there, a little bit of wiggle room, so to speak, so you can adjust it as you need once you get it in place. My brain keeps thinking like, no, this must be millimeter accurate. I have to have it exactly right. I don't. When I get this piece up, then I'll have a little bit closer of an idea as to what I'm going for the second piece, and hopefully I can make it work there. This is very rough. I think one more heat to smooth out some of them bumps, then we'll get on to the fun stuff. Theoretically, we want this barely over a planishing heat, so we don't move too much and just push the bits back into each other, back into themselves, I guess. Just trying to smooth out the lumps and bumps. course, leveling out something that has two different widths to it is very tricky. If not fully impossible. I'm sure it's not impossible, I just don't know the trick to it yet. That seems to have worked alright. Alright. How are we looking? Not so hot. To the plus side, at least now I can see where it needs to go in. Problem being, it just curls up in the middle. It's cut on one side, but not the other. I wonder why that is. That whittled, didn't it? Nope, so far so good. Alright. Definitely not getting as sharp an indentation as the machine cut ones. Could not possibly guess as to why that would be. Do I go back and try to cut more, or just try to sand out the shape I want? On the other hand, I made much prettier indents. That is something that I can actually file out to where I need it, I think. That was a good idea. Hooray! I love it when what seems like a good idea actually works. Fastest of speeds. It's already too cold. I did it anyway. I smell burning hair. Yep. You may have noticed I'm not making very clean punches here. Part of that is because I don't actually know the size of lag bolts I'm going to be putting through them. I don't have all of the pieces I need to complete this project yet. So I'm mostly using the punched holes to line up a drill press to drill the holes once I know the appropriate size to drill them to. The bolts that are currently on there have a large head and are not countersunk, so I don't need to worry about that at all, which is nice. Times like this, I really wish I had a vise down here. It's so much easier to get a fairly nice, even, flat bend. I could just heat it up, clamp it right where I want it, and bend it down, bang it against the vise. You as tight as I can, pinch, drop, flex. Holy crap, did that work, sort of, maybe? Gee. I did kind of bend the heck out of that in the forge. You know what this means? It's field trip time. After I quench this, of course. Oh shit. Or drop it into the bucket. Oh wow, I fully expected the tip of that to have bent itself into all sorts of shapes, but it just barely bent the end. Happy days. All right. So, I kind of altered this, didn't quite get the exact size I wanted. I wanted this to fit more flush against the wood so I could put a third screw into it, holding it there. I don't know if I just want to kind of rebend it and do it all again. On the other hand, you know, this is the crappy thing we're replacing. Yeah, on the other hand, I feel like that could have been much worse. Looking at that, that is way bigger than 1 inch. My thumb knuckle is roughly 1.5 inches there. So, plus it has more on the bottom and more on the top, so, all right. Ugly as can be. take two. I don't think I'll bring you on this one. So far, I've spent all this time widening her out and thickening her, widening her out and thinning her out a bit. Now, I want to taper it the other way and make it thicker down here. Of course, joy oh joy, I'll be starting on a place that I've already thinned out. That is not an appropriate holding tool. Let's hope I can find that when the heat's on and the chips are down. If nothing else, I can come fairly close with an eyeball. This doesn't need to be terribly precise either. Aha! I hit my mark even though I couldn't see it. I will take what wins I can where I can. Ow! Crap! And I will flick scale into my face for my hubris. Okay, I'm kind of sad to say I have to basically pull the plug on this piece. As we can see, this here is very, very thin and very, very cracked apart. It's one of those things you'd never really want to do the thinnest part first, because it's going to go back in and get reheated and reworked. I'm thinking I either should have left it thicker, like these parts here, but I think as thin as it is, it just was going to get problems like that no matter what. But I'm thinking for the next time when I make this, I'm going to start on this end. I have this here set up as a pretty good template for what I need. Though I do want this top part to be a little more flat. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem. I could just mount it so that it's flat. But ideally, I would like it in line with the holes. So I'm pretty much just going to saw this one off. The size is about right. I might actually saw it off up here just to keep that image in mind. And give it another go. Start from the other end, so we're not overworking the thinnest, smallest, wimpiest little pieces and burning them apart.